Islam, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, Osio, Bonjour, Hola, Aloha. This is your brother, Zach Bey, Indigenous American Moore, coming to you live and in full effect. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell if you would like to be notified whenever I'm dropping new content. Leave a thumbs up, comment down below, interact with my content. I really appreciate your viewership. Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims who are celebrating Ramadan. So, getting close to the end. You may have heard about the solar eclipse that's supposed to happen on the 8th, Monday, this coming Monday. So it coincides with the end of Ramadan. The military is also doing some kind of test or demonstration, firing rockets into the atmosphere or toward the eclipse to do some sort of testing or something of that nature. Very concerning, maybe even disturbing. I just wanted to go over a few things for, in general, preparedness or readiness. The Baltimore Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore was actually knocked down, and I feel some kind of way about that. Something told me that it was definitely done on purpose. I just want to put that out there. It might be to control trade, restrict movement, something like that. It's something behind it, because it didn't seem like an accident, honestly, the way that vessel was moving in the water, and alleged power outages, or they sent some kind of mayday distress signal. It all kind of seemed, pre-planned, if you ask me. But that's my personal opinion. All right, so a little bit of preparedness. Personally, I feel like if there was to be some kind of disaster, some kind of national emergency, even a statewide emergency, I feel there should be a plan with locals, just in case, um, something happens to threaten our food security, our water, our generally our freedom. Uh, there's a huge fear of maybe people coming from the urban areas, the cities, the concentrated city areas, to more of the rural areas where the farmers are, and a lot of people who actually have farms and have land fear that something like that might happen, that people might just rush their property and not give a damn about property boundaries, or pretty much they say uh, once the cities start receiving shipments and the supermarkets go bare, people will start migrating from the cities. That's the scenario. Um, Something we can do ahead of time to prevent something like that from happening, if food insecurities were to happen, to prevent major famine, is some of us can actually communicate ahead of time with local farmers and actually get a coordinated plan together to protect their property. Therefore, they know that they have a certain amount of people that they have a pact, some kind of agreement with, maybe even a contract. It could, if anything happens, or if shit hits the fan, we know that we have some locals who are going to come, maybe even ahead of time, and they're going to set up and they're going to protect our farmland. All right, so a local farming family, or somebody who has like farmlands, and people coming from the city, you make pacts with some of the people who might come from the city, family, friends, neighbors, stuff like that, and their families. So everybody has a place to go to as a refuge, and therefore you know that there will be X amount of people coming to your property, and they will help you protect and defend your land against anybody who might potentially try to take it from you, i.e., marauding bands of like raiders type stuff, like the Mad Max scenario. Violent criminal gangs or something of that nature. Even rogue law enforcement, or uh, if there was some kind of military takeover, a coup, or something like that, martial law. Mm, if something like that were to happen, there would be a set amount of people to protect the farms and make sure that we don't starve. I think something like that should definitely be um, in the forefront, should be planned ahead of time. I kind of thought about this idea as the past few months, how over in Europe, the farmers over there were protesting heavily against the government for trying to levy more taxes against them and passing certain bills that would make it almost impossible for them to either make a profit or to continue producing the amount of products that they were producing. So um, I've read and I've heard that they actually won over the ruling governance by getting their demands met by all the protesting that they were doing, the farmers over there. So that made me think, if the farmers get together and they can protest like that, we have to make sure that these farmers, the ones who are growing and producing food, livestock, stuff like that, that they're protected, that their lands are protected, that some corporation or some invading force won't come and just take their land, drive them off of their property. We the people have to make sure that that's secured and protected. That's like the main thing I was thinking about, coinciding along with these emergency scenarios or potential disastrous scenarios, um, ahead of time for like this eclipse coming. Um, I also believe like everybody in general should learn about all the major utilities in their localities. Where's the water plant? Where's the sewage treatment plant? Where's the electrical plant controlling the energy for the area? Stuff like that. Where are the major utilities, just in case somebody tries to target those, because we know that different guerrilla tactics and military strategy often might target infrastructure, um, water treatment, energy, stuff like that. So just normal, everyday people and citizens, nationals, we should all learn where our major utility plants are. So if need be, we can organize together and protect those places. You know what I'm saying? Um, we also need people to have like different type of skills, engineers, carpentry, stuff like that, medical skills. Those people are important. People who have the ability to take care of the injured, the wounded, people who can build, plan, um, plan to rebuild infrastructure. So that's why you need people like engineers, you need carpenters, you need medical people, people who have that type of expertise. So fortification skills, building trenches, building towers, walls, barricades, etc. Um, this is the next thing on the list is something that everyone can do. Pardon me. Collect seeds, collect heirloom seeds. Buy organic, if you have access to organic fruit, farmers market, something like that. Collect the seeds, tomato seeds, watermelon seeds, apple seeds, um, orange seeds, whatever kind of heirloom or organic seeds that you can collect to potentially trade, to barter, or to start a whole new tree. We can start the rebuilding plant forests and actually build sustainable edible forest in our backyard all over the place. The ancestors used a technique where they would plant certain species of plants next to each other. So it might be like corn, maize, or a type of bean, and like a squash or something like that. They would grow them near each other because they know that each one will benefit the other. Some might take more nitrogen out of the soil that the other ones don't need, stuff of that nature. Others might grow tall, like corn maze grows tall, so therefore the bean stalks can grow and they can wrap around the corn and actually grow up through the corn. So therefore you have corn and beans, stuff like that. Um, those are techniques of the ancestors that we need to, continue to use and make sure they don't die out. Um, Map routes, right? That's important. You should definitely have on hand a paper map. All right, it might seem like something in the past, like pirates looking for treasure or something with like a paper map, X marks the spot type of thing, right? But if cell phones go out, GPS is no longer available. Um, if you don't have like a compass, you don't know how to um, use Polaris or the North Star to like figure out which way is north, south, east, and west. Moss grows on the north side of the tree, stuff like that. If you can't figure out how to navigate with the natural environment, and you're completely relying on technology, GPS, you will be lost. You will not last too long. So something you can do ahead of time to get a paper map of the region, of the territory where you're at, so you can at least know where water is, north, south, east, and west, landmarks, stuff like that. Get a paper map just to have it. Map routes for, of course, travel and automobile, if just in case the highways are blocked, most likely. Um, a path, a route for biking, just in case you have like an off-road, all-terrain vehicle or automobile, or just a mountain bike or something like that. Make sure you have a route on foot, on bike, and like automobiles. Just most likely the highways will be blocked. Traffic jams, roadblocks, checkpoints, something like that might happen, most likely. So it's good to have a planned route, evacuation or escape route with that, to make sure that you can get out of the city or wherever you are to a safer place, on foot or on bike. Back roads, off the main path, stuff like that. Make sure you have a good bearing of your surroundings and how to get from place to place, just in case GPS is not available. See what else? There's a lot of different things. Be careful of bridges. Try to avoid going places where there's a bridge you have to cross. Very dangerous. Try to avoid paths where there's a tunnel you have to go through. So try to avoid bridges, tunnels, places you can get blocked in, closed in, easily trapped. It's not a good place. I've watched enough like apocalypse movies, zombie movies, just to know that if people were evacuating in large numbers, going to a choke point is not where you want to go, where everybody's going that way trying to fit through a small enclosed area. It's not the place you want to go. So keep that in mind. Of course, I said have a paper map of the territory. Make sure you have some sort of first aid, even if it's knowledge, even if it's just knowledge of first aid, even if it's a book of indigenous plants and stuff like that. Have something like that on hand. Extra water, extra food for travel, food that doesn't perish quickly. It's like legumes, nuts, seeds, dried fruit, stuff like that. Personal protection. All right, personal protection can be anything. It could be a firearm, it could be a blade, it could be protective gloves, it could be protective eyewear, gas masks, body armor, whatever falls in personal protection. Make sure that you can protect your person, your life, your belongings, the people you're with. Fire starter, all right. Matches, lighter, that's easy. If you don't have that, make sure you have like a flint type of lighter where you could, like, if you're camping, you can make a fire. All right. Of course, I have matches and lighters and stuff there. That's just like basic stuff, people would have in like a survival kit, or a bug out bag, or any type of emergency kit. That's just basic stuff that most people should have or have access to. Have a safe place for your family and friends to meet. All right, so if you plan something ahead of time, just in case there's evacuation, an earthquake, a tornado, if those are something that happens frequently in your area, not just because of the solar eclipse or in case of martial law or a natural disaster or um, a foreign attack, anything like that. All right, make sure your friends and family, you have a pre-planned place to meet that's maybe out of the way, that's safe, not too many people know about, that if you can't get in contact with everybody, if the cell phones are down and you can't call or reach anybody, within a certain amount of time, everybody is supposed to meet here. So therefore, you wait there for X amount of time because within that time frame, even if you can't get in contact with each other, everybody should go there. You could have one or two locations, so just in case one place is blocked off or unsafe, you'd be like, okay, we know that we can't go that way, let's go to the other area. Or if you meet in the one area and everybody isn't there, that group can go to the other area to check to see if people met there. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. So just to have a plan, something solid that people know if you cannot get in contact with each other, just to be safe. Shortwave radio, right? That's important. So like a little hand walkie-talkie, CV radios, if the cell phone towers go down, all right? That's very important. Make sure you can communicate with each other just in case if radios do go down. I know everybody doesn't have access to this. Everybody doesn't know how to use CV radios, but there are shortwave radios that you can buy, maybe like some little handheld ones. We used to use them as children back in the days where the Nextel chirp was really popular. All right, so we would use the Nextel and chirp each other, but some people also had like little shortwave walkie-talkies that were pretty popular in the summer, I remember. Last but not least, have cash on hand. You might need to go to the bank, make a withdrawal or two. Just make sure you have some cash on hand just in case um, the ATM machines go down, the banks are closed, something like that. I know on Monday there's a lot of school closures. The government put out a warning. I'm not sure if some businesses are closed down, but I know a lot of schools are closed. Schools and universities are closed because of the solar eclipse and the government warning that was placed out. So that's very important. But yes, last but not least, definitely have cash on hand. Small bills, preferably not large, just in case anything happens. The worst should happen. But I just wanted to go over this, put this information out there ahead of the eclipses happening on Monday, and not just simply because of that, for any type of emergency or disaster or something that might happen, to just be prepared and ready. So once again, this is your brother Tarik Bey. Wado, peace.